Hello, I'm Erin Halvorsen. Thank you for joining me for Rag Rugs by Erin, and today we're going to be making the Caribbean Breeze rag rug. And if you've seen any of my other 27 videos, I thank you for joining me again, and if this is your first one, then welcome. So let's go ahead and get started. This one is called the Caribbean Breeze, and you can see this is quite a gorgeous rug. Before we get started, I just want to talk about the rug for just a moment. This is a very simple rug to make. You just need to make sure that every time you transition, you use a different material. I tried to use really bold materials, and I tried to do solids and then prints because I thought that would look really nice. The only time I did not use, if you look here, this is a print, and then I used a bold solid here. This is a print here, but because it wasn't real bold of a print, I went ahead and used another bold print right on top of it, and I thought it transitioned very well. The rest of them went from solid to print. And if you notice here, I also I decided to end it with the same one that I began with, because I thought that maybe gave it some uniformity to it. Okay. Another thing that I want to point out is while you're doing this rug, you've got to be a little bit careful because it's such a long rug that you try to stay consistent with your stitching, or it will expand and get bigger. And I found that was happening with mine, and so I just kind of tightened up and adjusted, and you may have to do the same. So let's go ahead and get started and put this to the side. So if you've joined me before, you know good tools are really important to me, so let's quickly go over what you're going to need. A good pair of scissors. This is a number 10 or an N crochet hook. A lot of people will use a Q. You could also use the 11, which is, I have one here too, which would be fine, but I like the N the best. So, and then you'll also need a tapestry needle to finish it. I just happen to have it threaded here so I don't lose it. But you can see the tapestry needle has a little bit of a dull end, and it has a nice big wide end. Sometimes they call them yarn needles. And make sure they do make them in plastic. Do not buy a plastic one. I tend to tear mine apart. They just won't withstand everything that I'm doing with them. So if you buy them, they're very inexpensive. All this equipment is inexpensive. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I realize some of you may be crocheters and you're going to be saying, you know, why is she showing me this? But some of you may not be crocheters in any way, so I'm going to gear it towards you, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to do 48 chain stitches. And some of the rugs that I teach you, the count is not a necessary thing that we have to stay exact to. In this particular rug, you do need to stay exact. You can do it in increments of 4 though, so if you wanted to do one at 44 or 40, because that's going to work better for you, that would be fine. You can choose, but make sure it's in increments of 4 in order to make this rug work for you. Okay, so we're going to take, this is a sheet yarn. I have 3 videos on making sheet yarn, no-sew sheet yarn, regular sheet yarn, and also some tips for no-sew sheet yarn. So if you need to learn how to do that, you can refer to those videos as well. So you're going to take your sheet yarn. You're going to leave a long enough tail to allow to finish off your rug. So you're going to cross over. Take the ball that's the big end, is going to be over the top. And then you're going to pull that material through, and you're making a slip knot. Okay? Not everyone makes them exactly the same. As long as it's a slip knot, it'll be fine. You're going to put your crochet needle in here, and we're going to do 48 chain stitches. In order to do a chain stitch, you're going to keep the shorter end in your crocheting hand along with your needle, and you're going to take it and cross over with your sheet yarn, and you're going to pull it through. I'm going to do that 48 times. It needs to be loose though, okay? 2, 3, cross over and pull it through. 4, cross over and pull it through. Make sure you keep it loose. Cross over and pull it through. You're going to do that till you get 48. I was afraid that I could not talk and count 48 exactly, so I went ahead and moved on just a little bit and have one sitting here that has 48 stitches. So in order to do that, I wanted to be ready, because it is very important that it is 48 stitches. So I know that this is 48 stitches. So you're finishing just like what we did. We did the 48 stitches, and like you were doing your stitches right here. Then you're going to flip your work, because you're always going to work from right to left. You're going to flip your work, and you're going to, cameraman, if you can get in and get a good look at this. When you do your chain stitch, you're going to notice that on one side they've got the double. See how it's kind of doubled here? On the side of the stitch is the hole here. And this is just like a single, each one. I put it with a single on the top. Okay? So we're going to skip the first stitch. This is the first stitch. We're going to go into the second stitch. Okay? You're going to put your crochet hook into the second stitch, go into this, you're going to cross over. This is a single crochet you're going to be doing. You're going to pull it through, and now you have 2. 1, 2. You're going to take your material again and cross over and pull them both through. Okay? You're going to now go to the second stitch. Okay. You're going to go into the next hole. You're going to cross over and pull it through. 1, 2. Cross over again and pull them both through. See how you see there's the next stitch, there's the next hole. Go into the hole. You're going to cross over and pull it through. There's 2. Cross over again and pull them both through. We're going to do one more. There's the next one. Cross over, pull it through, cross over again and pull them both through. Okay. Instead of going all the way to the end and doing this and making you wait, we're going to move on to the end of another row so you can see how to transition from the end of the row. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and you're going to continue. Make sure you keep your material. Mr. Cameraman, you might want to pan out just a teeny bit and come out behind me just a little bit. You want to make sure, I've seen people, I've done some private lessons, and I see people that are trying to crochet and their tail is hanging down like this, and then they kind of are going like this at this angle. If you keep your material, your chain stitch, and your work flat in the direction that you're working all the time, it'll be much easier, and your stitches will stay much more consistent. So make sure you keep it flat and along that lines in order to keep it flowing well. Okay, so you have 48, and as you get to the end, I've already finished a few rows. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you transition. I'm going to continue on just like we're doing that same exact stitch. Go into the next hole. It becomes more clear as the rows go on. The first row into the chain stitch is a little more difficult, but you can see here these are your holes. They're more obvious. Okay, so we have 3 more stitches to complete on this one. You're going to go into this hole, grab it just like we did before. There's 2, cross over and pull them both off. Next hole, and you can see it's more obvious now. Pull them both off just like what we were doing on the original one. This is something I wanted you to see. As you get to the end here, you may have to kind of figure out where that last hole is. It's right here. Okay, sometimes you've done it too tight and you may have to put your fingers in and try to make it. What you don't want to do is try to go over in here. You're going to have this little line here of stitches, and that's the end. So you're going to go into this last hole, cross over and pull it through, and cross over one more time and pull them both off. Okay, now let me show you how you split from, once you've done a row, each time you're going to do it exactly the same way. You're going to transition from one row to the next. You're going to flip your work. So after you've come to the end and you've done your last stitch that we just did, you're going to do 1 chain stitch like that. Okay, so one chain stitch when you complete it. You're going to again flip your work, okay, and then you would go into this next hole. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. You go into this next hole. That was your chain stitch, and you go into this hole and do the same thing, and you're going to continue all the way down. However, this is where we're going to transition and we're going to change colors. It's going to give you that really nice effect that we're calling the Caribbean Breeze, with these little stripes that go down and gives it a really fun look. Okay, so if you're going to, we're going to end here, and we're going to go to part 2, and then we'll add the new material and show you how to do that. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you at part 2. Thank you.